Friends, now we are moving to the Ind AS standards proper. Okay, we will start with some of the basics and then we will move to the advanced standards, advanced provisions. Now, for the purpose of easy understanding, I propose to give these details or give this information in some small capsules. I will take small concepts from the standard and then we will deliberate on that in a small video. Then after that another video, like that we will proceed. Okay, so let's begin this series right now. So in this first video in the series, we are going to learn about the financial statements. You might be wondering what is there to learn in a financial statements, because financial statements is something which you all are very familiar right from your +1 onwards. But when you come to Ind AS regime, when we talk about financial statements, the financial statements has got some differences. That is what we are going to see here right now. Okay, now typically in a non-Ind AS regime or as per our local AS regime, financial statements includes what all things? Financial statements will include your conventional balance sheet. Okay, balance sheet. Yes, you all are very clear about it. Now the next one is, we call it as a conventional profit and loss account, and in case of schedule 3 its name is statement of profit and loss. I will write it as SOPL, statement of profit and loss. Now after SOPL or statement of profit or loss account, we have the cash flow statements or CFS, cash flow statements. And you know what is the applicability of cash flow statements as per your AS3, local AS3 and all those things, right? Okay, and the next one is notes forming part of the financial statements. Notes, which includes the schedules, then other disclosures, etc. And these 4 documents along with something called as significant accounting policy. Okay, significant accounting policies or SAP. All these things together forms the complete set of financial statements in the local GAAP. Local GAAP. I hope that is clear to everyone. Okay, so you have your balance sheet, statement of profit and loss, then you have cash flow statements if it is applicable, then your notes on accounts, which will include the disclosures as well as the schedules forming part of financial statements, and the last one, significant accounting policies or SAP. Okay, now on the other hand, when you come to the Ind AS regime, you have some small additions. Okay, what are the additions? Let us see that. Now the first one, balance sheet, that is there in your Ind AS regime also. So in Ind AS regime, complete set of financial statements includes your balance sheet. Okay, now you have to know the balance sheet as on which date. The balance sheet typically under the local AS, you have the balance sheet as at the year end. Okay, the year end, and also you should give the comparative information, right? So comparative information means it will be the previous year end. So this is the current year information and this is the comparative information. So balance sheet typically will have 2 columns. One is the current year figures and the other column is the previous year figures, comparative figures we call it as. Okay, so that is also there in your Ind AS. Okay, now in addition to this balance sheet, it will have one more additional statement, okay, which is known as statement of changes in equity. Statement of changes in equity, or we call it as SOCIE, SOCI, we call it as SOCI. Okay, statement of changes in equity. What is the statement of changes in equity? In Ind AS, we have this concept of equity. Okay, equity. Now equity will have various components. It will have your, what you call as your share capital. Okay, not all share capital, it will have only the equity share capital. Then it will have your reserves, we call it as the shareholders funds or whatever, reserves, and it will also have some other equity. Okay, other equity for Ind AS might also include our conventional debt instruments. Sometimes we classify debentures as equity. We'll learn about that in Ind AS 109 or 107. Okay, so whenever the point which I wanted to tell here is this term equity is an elaborate term in Ind AS. It is not just your share capital plus reserves. No, it will include various components. Now, Ind AS requires you to present a statement which will include each item of this equity and the changes what has happened in that equity. Okay, so in this statement of changes in equity, you have to give the detailed breakup of each equity, component of equity, and the movement of changes, opening value, then what is the closing value, and what are the changes that happened within that period. I will come to that SOCI in detail when we talk about that and the presentation, all those matters in detail. Okay, but for the time being, you keep it in mind, you have your balance sheet and you have your SOCI, SOCIE, statement of changes in equity. Okay, now which is the next item? The next item is as usual SOPL, statement of profit and loss for the period. Okay, and of course along with the period you have to give the comparative information, so previous year figures also have to be given. The third one, statement of cash flows. You don't have any changes in that. In these two it is same as the local GAAP. Now coming to the other one, you have to give the notes. Okay, notes forming part of financial statements, and in the notes you have to give what? Significant accounting policies, SAP. Now this word significant has been changed to material accounting policies. So it is material accounting policies. It is not significant accounting policies now, it is material accounting policies or MAPs. SAP has become MAP when it came to what? Ind AS regime. Okay, so you have the notes and also SAP. As against SAP, we have the MAP, material accounting policies, and also other explanatory information. Other explanatory information means other disclosures which we have to give. Okay, now sometimes in Ind AS you will have to prepare one more balance sheet. Typically in your local GAAP you had a balance sheet, and this balance sheet will have two columns. Okay, balance sheet will have the current year figures and previous year figures. Now in Ind AS regime, in addition to these two columns, you can have one more column. Okay, current year, previous year, and the PPY, I will call it as PPY, previous year to the previous year. Okay, so I would say if you are preparing the financial statements on 31/3/24, this will be 31/3/24, this will be 31/3/23, and this third, this will be, just listen, 1/4/22. What is 1/4/22? 1/4/22 is the opening balance sheet for the previous year. Opening balance sheet for the previous year. Opening balance sheet for the previous year. Okay, or the balance sheet as on the opening date. Okay, that is the previous year is 22/23, 22/23. So the opening date will be 1/4/22. So that also have to prepare in Ind AS in some scenarios, special scenarios, not in all cases. Wherever there are certain conditions, there are certain scenarios, if that scenario occurs, then you have to prepare the third balance sheet also. And this third balance sheet generally comes in the first year of adoption. When you apply or when you adopt Ind AS for the first time, first adoption, okay, you have to prepare the third third balance sheet. Now, if you have any changes in the accounting policies, that also you have to give.